Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipak Chikurana, coming up in the next hour. Donald Trump set to face opening statements in the first ever criminal trial of a former US president. In Maldives, President Morsi's People's National Congress Party gets landslide victory in parliamentary polls. And in sports, Gukesh becomes the youngest candidate's winner, secures a draw against Hikaru Nakamura in the final round to face the reigning world champion Ding Larin with the crown on the line. On to the details now. Donald Trump is set to face opening statements in the first ever criminal trial of a former US president. Trump faces charges that he paid $130,000 to an adult film star to cover up an affair. The trial could either help or hurt his re-election bid, as US correspondent Nick Harper reports for more.
Well, Monday will see the opening statements in this trial against Donald Trump, the first time that the United States has held a criminal trial against a former president. And yet here we are, Donald Trump facing dozens of charges for falsifying business records, allegedly trying to cover up an affair with an adult film star. He allegedly paid her money in the tune of $130,000 just ahead of the 2016 election when he was running for president to cover up the fact that he had allegedly had an affair with Stormy Daniels back in 2006. Now, Donald Trump denies that he had the affair, and he denies that he tried to cover it up. And yet prosecutors will lay out in their opening arguments why they think the former president falsified multiple business records in an attempt to try and cover all of this up and to buy Stormy Daniels' silence. It's taken a week to find a jury of 12 men and women who say that they can be impartial in this trial. Donald Trump, of course, says not only can he not get a fair trial in the state of New York, where there are many Democrats, he, of course, the former Republican president, but also he says that this is a politically motivated witch hunt. The Democrats going after him because he says they don't want to see him again in the White House. He's running for re-election at this time. This trial is likely to last for about 6 weeks or so and could have a major impact on his re-election bid. There is, of course, the chance that this will electrify his base, providing an opportunity for them to rally behind the former president to show their support. But of course, if he's convicted, it could turn off many undecided voters who may decide that they do not want to have a convicted criminal as someone in the White House. It will be a fascinating trial that's likely to have many twists and turns and many developments along the way. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Well, in Maldives, People's National Congress won 66 of the first 86 seats declared, according to the Election Commission of Maldives. The polls were being seen as a crucial litmus test for the President, Dr. Mohamed Morsi's party, which was under fire by over several corruption allegations as well as its policies. The main opposition, Maldivian Democratic Party, which had won amid supermajority in 2019 elections, returned with 11 seats. Chairman of MDP, Fayaz Ismail, congratulated the winning MPs and added that MDP's MPs will be ready to work with the government for the betterment of the democratic values and to hold it accountable as responsible opposition. And for more details, we are joined by our correspondent, Dr. Ahmed Faruki from Colombo. Well, good morning, Dr. Ahmed. Just wanted to know, in recent times, it has been a trend that the ruling party also has been winning the parliamentary elections. How do you see all this?
If you're right, you see, Maldives is pretty recently it has taken to the democratic form of government. And we have been noticing that since 2013, the the government which is in power, the president who has won the 2013 election, his party won the 2014 parliamentary elections. Likewise, 2018 presidential election, the winner, Ibrahim Saleh, his party, MDP, won a supermajority in 2019's parliamentary election. Likewise, even this elections, the ruling government, ruling party, the PNC, they have won a supermajority. And something which has been going on as a trend for the last three elections. So it seems fairly, a usual trend that's happening in Maldives over the last 10 years. So it's not anything different as of now, Lepakshi.
All right. Also, Dr. Faruki, PNC is almost known to be an authoritarian party. How do you see relations with its neighbors now being affected after this?
Lepakshi, you see, PNC and the PPM, the Progressive Party of Maldives, they had governments which had been authoritarian, especially under Abdullah Yamin, and that was something which people had taken a very strong view against. And thereafter, in 2018 and 19, we had seen MDP coming victorious. It's a democratic party with democratic values and ethos, and something which is a positive thing for a democracy wherein authoritarianism is completely wiped out. But now what we are seeing is that as compared to a democratic party, an authoritarian regime is being favored by the people. So this is a surprising kind of a development that's happening. Nevertheless, with regard to the relations in the neighborhood, you see, India places Maldives at the center of its neighborhood first policy. All the neighborhood countries for India are at the center of it. We have seen it also through various budgetary allocations for Maldives also. This year, as compared to the last year's allocation of 400 crore, this year the allocation was 600 crore. So there has been an increase in the allocations, and several projects are still ongoing for India in Maldives. The Greater Malay Connectivity Project, a $500 million project, which would connect three islands to Malay. So that's something which is remarkable. And once it's completed, it's going to be a major source for travel for people from one island to the other. And that's something which is, it's a game changer for people who are living in the Malay region. Something that's important for Maldives also.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Faruki, for joining us and giving us those updates. And moving on, Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to meet with his Azerbaijan counterpart Ilham Aliyev in Moscow on Monday. This meeting comes shortly after Russia began withdrawing its peacekeepers from the Karabakh region. DD India's Dasha Chernyshova reports for more from Moscow.
Says presidents of Russia and Azerbaijan, Vladimir Putin and Ilham Aliyev will discuss key issues of bilateral relations, further development of strategic partnership, and exchange views over the regional situation. Aliyev's visit to Moscow comes after the Kremlin confirmed that Russian peacekeepers had begun their withdrawal from Nagorno-Karabakh. Russia deployed up to 2,000 peacekeepers to Nagorno-Karabakh in November 2020 under a Moscow-brokered deal that ended 6 weeks of fire. Their job was to control the ceasefire regime, ensure safety. They also helped to restore water supply and delivered humanitarian aid. But after the Armenian leadership recognized that Karabakh belongs to Azerbaijan, Moscow said it was discussing all issues related to peacekeepers exclusively with Baku. Talks between the presidents of Russia and Azerbaijan also come as Moscow's ties with Yerevan have strained, with Armenia embarking on what experts describe as a pro-Western course. Moscow hopes to resolve all issues with Armenia through dialogue. Earlier in April, Aliyev said that Western attempts to turn Armenia into an armed outpost in the South Caucasus in the future will lead to negative consequences. Putin and Aliyev will also mark the 50th anniversary of the launching of the Baikal-Amur mainline construction. The father of the current president of Azerbaijan, Heydar Aliyev, oversaw the railway's construction. Dasha Chernyshova reporting in Moscow for DD India.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday called for efforts to reduce the time between political decisions to provide military aid to Ukraine and enabling the country's soldiers. In his nightly video address, Zelensky said strength is what is truly needed to change the situation at the front.
The time between political decisions and inflicting real defeats on the enemy at the front, between the approval of the aid package and providing the strength to our guys, this should be reduced to a minimum, and this strength is what is truly needed to change the situation at the front. We need frontline air defenses as much as we need it in cities and villages, as much as we need long-range strike capabilities, artillery, and capabilities to expand our control.
Well, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on Sunday that he hoped the U.S. Senate would quickly approve funding for Ukraine aid after the U.S. House of Representatives on Saturday passed a legislative package providing security assistance. A bipartisan majority of the House of Representatives voted in favor of a bill allocating additional funds to Ukraine. The Senate is set to begin considering the House-passed bill on Tuesday. Final passage was expected sometime next week, which would clear the way for President Joe Biden to sign it into a law.
I am happy to say that it's good news that the US House of Representatives has decided on further financial aid to Ukraine, also with weapons, something which had been discussed for a long time and which was controversial. We hope very much that the US Senate will soon reach a decision as well, so that this aid from the United States is secured for the future.
And Russian forces have taken control of the settlement of Bohdanivka in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, Russia's defense ministry said in a statement on Sunday. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces in its Sunday evening report mentioned Bohdanivka as one of a series of villages where it said Ukrainian forces repelled 13 enemy attacks. Ukraine's defense ministry denied last week that Russia had captured all of Bohdanivka, while acknowledging it had lost some positions in the village in eastern Donetsk region. Bakhmut was captured by Russian troops in May 2023 after months of fierce fighting that leveled what was once a city of about 70,000. And Ukraine's military said on Sunday it had struck and damaged a long-serving Russian rescue vessel in Sevastopol, the headquarters in occupied Crimea of Moscow's Black Sea Fleet. Navy spokesperson said the vessel had been hit by Sevastopol Bay on Sunday morning, and it was clear that the ship is no longer in a state to carry out assignments. Ukrainian armed forces said the ship was one of the oldest operated by the Russian Navy and had been launched in 1913. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has pointed to the military success in attacking and containing Russia's Crimea-based fleet in the nearly 26-month-old war against Russia. Crimea was seized and annexed by Russia in 2014. And Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa cast his ballot on Sunday in alone on the west coast of the country. Noboa is seeking voter support on Sunday for a raft of security measures in a national referendum to fight rising violence that left a man dead even as voters went to the polls. Citizens head to the polls to vote on measures including joint police-military patrols, the extradition of wanted criminals, and longer sentences for terrorism and murder, among other crimes. In January, violence in Ecuador captured world attention when gunmen stormed a live television broadcast and scores of prison staff were taken hostage. The referendum measures are economic changes Noboa wants to make, such as allowing workers to be contracted by the hour, which opponents say will benefit the rich and international companies. Noboa, who took office in November, is expected to seek re-election in 2025. And in Colombia, tens of thousands marched on Sunday to reject economic and social reforms being proposed by the leftist government of President Gustavo Petro. The protest is latest in a series of demonstrations against Petro's policies. The reforms, which Petro says will fight deep inequality, were key campaign promises for Petro, who took office in 2022. Some 70,000 people marched in Bogota, waving national flags and blowing on trumpets before gathering in the central Bolivar Square. The march comes after a Senate committee earlier this month rejected a proposed health reform aimed at stripping power from insurers and expanding access to health care. The government is expected to propose a new version of the health reform once the new legislative session begins in July. Pension and labor reforms are still being debated by lawmakers. And still to come, indeed India News Hour. 7 dead, 20 injured in car racing accident in Sri Lanka. Uganda commemorates 30th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide. An Earth Day being observed across the world today.
Poll Pulse tracks the pulse of the poll-bound southernmost Indian state of Tamil Nadu.
Voting is our responsibility.
This is a big fight between BJP and India alliance.
Will you vote?
Yeah, power of democracy. This is a huge.
BJP is trying her best, for the past 10 years under the flagship of Sri Narendra Modi government.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls in Tamil Nadu are witnessing the battle royale between DMK, AIADMK and the BJP.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, nearly 17,000 Filipino and American troops will begin a 3-week joint combat training exercise in the Philippines on Monday, involving maritime drills in the South China Sea, where Manila and Beijing have sparred over maritime borders. France and Australia will join the maritime exercises to be conducted for the first time outside Philippine territorial waters. The annual Balikatan drills, which will run from April 22nd to May 10th, come amid an escalating diplomatic row and maritime encounters between the Philippines and China. During joint exercises, U.S. troops and their Manila counterparts will simulate retaking enemy-occupied islands in the northernmost islands of the country, close to Taiwan, and in western Palawan province facing the South China Sea. And for more, we have Laura Westbrook joining us from Hong Kong. Well, Laura, what are these exercises for?
Yeah, these are annual exercises called Balikatan, which means shoulder-to-shoulder drills that the US and the Philippines have every year. But for the first time since these drills started in 1991, they will take place 12 nautical miles beyond the Philippines' territorial waters, in waters that are claimed by the South China Sea. And for the first time, the Philippines Coast Guard says it will take part in these joint naval drills. Now, the fact that these drills are going to be taking place in waters that are claimed by China as well as Manila is something that is predicted to anger Beijing. The US says, though, that these drills are aimed to improve communication and coordination between the US and Philippines militaries. Around 16,000 troops, both from the Philippines and the United States, are expected to take part. But also the French Navy is expected to take part as well for the first time since 1991, and some of the drills will be simulating retaking enemy-occupied islands facing Taiwan and the South China Sea. There are also around 14 nations that will act as observers, including Japan and India.
All right, Laura. Also, this comes at a time of tension with China over the South China Sea. What can we say about the timings?
Yeah, I think the timing here is interesting because it does come at a time of tension, particularly between Manila and Beijing. They both have competing claims in the South China Sea, and in recent months we have seen increasing clashes between the Philippine Coast Guard and the Chinese Coast Guard. The Philippines has sent resupply missions to a part of the South China Sea, and the Chinese Coast Guard has blocked that. It's in clashes that have included water cannon and also have injured Philippines people. So the US says that these drills are a tangible demonstration of our shared commitment to each other, but the fact that these drills will focus on areas that face Taiwan and in the South China Sea is something that is predicted to anger Beijing. It has warned the Philippines that bringing in other countries to flex its muscles in the South China Sea is something that will do nothing to ease tensions and will in fact undermine regional stability. The South China Sea, why is this so important? Well, trillions of trade pass through these shipping lanes every year. It's an incredibly important strategic part of the region.
All right, thank you so much, Laura, for that update from there. And moving on, more than 1,000 protesters marched in Paris against racism and violence against children after a court allowed their demonstration to go ahead. After being banned by Paris police, the Paris Administrative Court decided to suspend the ban. Ban and protest have been more frequent in France in recent months amid tensions stirred by Israel-Hamas conflict. The 51 organizations dedicated the protest to the memory of all young victims of police, judicial and prison crimes, while highlighting violence against children. The date of this demonstration was chosen to pay tribute to Amini Bontonsi, a youth shot in the back by a police officer on April 22, 2012, near Paris. Well, moving on, 7 people, including a child, were killed and 20 others were injured during the Fox Hill Supercross motor race in Sri Lanka's Yuva province on Sunday. The accident took place when one of the cars went off the track and collided with a group of spectators. 20 of the injured are undergoing hospital treatment. The police is conducting further investigations into the incident. The race was organized by the Sri Lankan Army and was its 28th run. And Papua New Guinea has agreed with China to facilitate the free flow of trade between the two countries. Prime Minister James Marape told reporters on Sunday while hailing bilateral economic and trade ties. Marape made the remarks after meeting with visiting Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi the same day in the capital, Port Moresby. The Prime Minister said China is an important destination for Papua New Guinea exports, highlighting his country's trade surplus with the world's second largest economy. When meeting with Marape, Wang said China will become the most trustworthy partner for Papua New Guinea and the Chinese side is ready to quicken negotiations for a free trade agreement. During his visit, Wang also held talks with PNG Foreign Minister Justin Tachenko. The two ministers also held a joint press conference. And in Niger, hundreds marched through northern city of Agadez on Sunday to demand the departure of U.S. troops from the military base there. This comes a day after sources said an agreement had been reached between Niamey and Washington to commence the withdrawal. There were a little over 1,000 U.S. troops in Niger as of last year, where the U.S. military operated out of 2 bases, including a drone base built near Agadez in central Niger. Last year, Niger's army seized power in a coup, until which Niger had been a key security partner of the United States and France, but new authorities joined juntas in neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso in ending military deals with Washington and Paris, quitting the regional political and economic bloc, ECOWAS, and fostering closer ties with Russia. And commemorations have been taking place across Africa to mark the 30th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide. In neighboring Uganda, which has a significant Rwandan community, survivors gather to pay their respect to the victims. Rwanda is currently observing 100 days of mourning for the hundreds of thousands of people that lost their lives. Leon Sianj, our correspondent in Uganda, reports for more.
Since 1994.
30 years on, Richard Rutagarama still hurts from the events of April 1994. His wife and 5 children were murdered. He's visited this memorial site for the last 4 years.
Every time I come here, I get some relief.
I pay my respects to the victims that were killed.
The staggering scale of the mass murder means relatives of the victims can be found across East Africa. For Marie Mukari Rinda, the memories of her parents being killed still linger.
We were a family of 11. My parents and other siblings were killed in the genocide. We survived only the 3 of us.
The Rwandan genocide is a past horror that's not been forgotten. It's thought that as many as 1 million people died in just 100 days of conflict. This memorial site is a resting place to over 4,700 victims of the 1994 Rwanda genocide. There are 2 other sites in the southern part of the country with remains of more than 6,000 victims. The impact of the conflict was widespread. Many Rwandans fled to neighboring Uganda to escape the bloodshed. Here, the survivors gather to honor their loved ones.
The 30th commemoration marks a generational cycle since the genocide was put to an end, and is an opportune time for a court to reflect on the transformational journey that Rwanda has undergone for the last 30 years.
The genocide took place during the Rwandan Civil War when members of the Tutsi minority ethnic group and others were massacred by rival Hutu militias. The brutality shocked the world, and since then, there's been a near continuous call for unity and reconciliation.
The Rwandan story shows how much power human beings have within them. Whatever power you do have, you might as well use it to tell the truth and do what is right.
It's been 30 years since one of the darkest chapters in the story of modern Africa. And while the journey out of the depths of despair may take many years, it is solidarity and togetherness that continues to give hope. Leon Senyange in Golo, Central Uganda, reporting for DD India.
All right, and now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. U.S. journalist Terry Anderson, who was held captive by Islamist militants for almost 7 years in Lebanon, died on Sunday at the age of 76. Anderson worked for the Associated Press in Detroit, Louisville, New York, Tokyo, Johannesburg, and then Beirut, where he first went to cover the Israeli invasion in 1982. Thousands of residents were evacuated in southern Serbia's Nis after a 1,000 kg bomb left over from the 1999 NATO bombing of the country was removed on Sunday. Police, firefighters and medical teams ensured it was transported safely. Earth Day is being observed across the world today. The annual event, celebrated since 1970, demonstrates support for environmental protection. This year's theme for Earth Day is Planet versus Plastics. The theme aims to bring attention to the serious issue of plastic pollution and its harmful effect on nature. Hong Kong's ban on single-use plastics takes effect today, marking Earth Day. Hong Kong will launch the first phase that prohibits the sale and distribution of single-use plastics, including straws, cutlery and styrofoam food containers. The second phase, starting in 2025, will ban single-use plastic cups and boxes for take-away services. And still to come in DD India News Hour. Campaigning heats up for the second phase of India's general elections. Leaders of all major political parties to hold rallies to woo the voters. India's President Draupadi Murmu to confer Padma Awards at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. An Indian envoy hosts Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust officials discuss ways to develop Ramayana Trail in Sri Lanka.
As the cycle of accountability returns, the time has come when the biggest democracy chooses to write another chapter in its glorious history. Development, justice, regionalism, a big political canvas. Everything will be put to test in this mega battle for glory. DD India dissects what makes elections 2024 the battle royale in Indian politics. Data and analysis free from bias to help you understand why India matters. The Great Indian Election on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kurana and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Donald Trump set to face opening statements in the first ever criminal trial of a former US president. In Maldives, President Moise's People's National Congress Party gets landslide victory in parliamentary polls. And in sports, Gukesh becomes the youngest candidate's winner, secures a draw against Hikaru Nakamura in the final round to face the reigning world champion Ding Laren with the crown on the line. All right, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is to visit Siachen today. During his visit, Defence Minister will interact with the soldiers deployed at the world's highest battlefield. Last week, the Indian Army marked the 40th year of its presence on the strategically significant Siachen Glacier. The Siachen Glacier, the height of around 20,000 feet in the Karakoram range, is known as the highest militarized zone in the world, where the soldiers have to battle frostbite and high winds. And let's now get to the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. While campaigning for the second phase of elections is gaining momentum in order to garner support for their respective parties, leaders across the nation are holding public rallies and road shows. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to hold a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh's Aligarh. Voting for Lok Sabha elections will be held on Aligarh Parliamentary seat. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah is to hold rally in Chhattisgarh Kanker. And in order to woo the voters, political parties are holding rallies and roadshows across the nation. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge to visit Maharashtra and Karnataka, where he will be holding multiple rallies. As the election campaign for the second phase entered its final stretch, Bahujan Samajwadi Party chief Mayavati to hold rally in Uttar Pradesh's Bulandshahr. Well, today is the last day for withdrawal of candidature in Phase 3 general elections. 94 parliamentary constituencies spread across 12 states and union territories will go to polls in this phase on the 7th of May. States and union territories included in Phase 3 are Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, Goa, Gujarat, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. And in Manipur, repolling is being conducted at the 11 polling booths of the Inner Manipur Parliamentary Constituency. The Election Commission of India declared polls held at these stations on April 19th as null and void after incidents of violence reported during the first phase of polling. Well, for more on elections, we are joined by Ajay Joy from Trivandrum right now. Well, Ajay, we have... how are the poll preparations going on in Karnataka, in Trivandrum right now?
Yes. Good morning, Lipakshi. Yes, one of the world's largest festival, in fact, the largest secular festival, I must say, the voting is underway, and Kerala is in the second phase, and on April 26th, this coming Friday, Kerala will, the voters of Kerala will register the choice in their EVMs. And preparations are all perfect as of now. To say a few words, because voting has in fact begun in Kerala in terms of the home polling, the home voting, which they say, which Election Commission has separately provided a facility for Divyang and senior citizens above the age of 85 to vote from their home. So in that, almost 81% polling has already occurred. 1.42 lakh voters have registered their vote, and their votes are safe in the sealed iron boxes as it used to be earlier. So during the time of EVMs, those iron boxes may be a matter of curiosity or evoking some sort of nostalgia. But those things are also happening right now to widen up people's participation in this great festival. Around 2.77 crore voters are in total in Kerala, and 25,000, more than 25,000 booths are all set. Live webcasting is there for all booths in 8 districts, whereas in other 6 districts, 75% of the booths are covered under live webcasting. Election Commission, especially the Chief Electoral Office, has left no stones unturned here in Kerala to ensure smooth and fair poll this time.
All right. Also, Ajay, for both Congress and CPM... Ajay, for both Congress and CPM, Kerala is like a do-and-die battle. Where do you see this going?
Things have turned a really ugly turn, we must say, even if from a reporter's objective point of view, because as Kerala has reached the final week of its slog always basically, and the real slugfest has begun between LDF and UDF, and that too between the Supremo of Congress, I must say, between Rahul Gandhi and Kerala's Chief Minister. The allegations, the counter-allegations, the slightenings, the provocations have happened in between. The Congress in general have been questioning why Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is not getting arrested. In fact, it's a matter of curiosity for other states where parties who are working together in the Indie front, they are at each other's neck here actually, calling for each other's head basically. And Chief Minister was clearly provoked at these allegations and the demands from the Congress. So in fact, he took to the press to slighten the Rahul Gandhi himself, telling that he should come out of his previous nicknames. He should not air these wild allegations without any political understanding of the situation. And basically the Kerala left, they are portraying Congress as politically bankrupt, who are unable to understand the situation in the national level, whereas Congress has clearly been cornering Kerala Chief Minister basically to leverage the anti-incumbency factor, at least against the state government in Kerala. And out of the 20 seats, UDF, the Congress-led UDF, would like to gain all the 20 seats. Remember last time when Congress was reduced to below 50 seats national level, Kerala had contributed 19 seats for them, including their allies. So this time they want to make it to 20, but LDF will not let it happen so smoothly, because for them this is a do-or-die battle. It's basically to protect their national existence. LDF, the left front, should garner maximum seats in Kerala, and that's why the slugfest has happened in between. They're trying to protect the terrain, and in this, BJP is trying to make use of the fluid situation here They would like to get the vote share increase at least till 20%, and 2 seats they are almost sure about getting in Kerala. Although the slogan called by PM says double digit in Kerala, but essentially BJP will be happy if they settle for 2 seats in Kerala from 0 in the last position.
All right. Also, Ajay, can you tell us about the major campaigns planned? Can you tell us about the major campaigns planned in the state before the next phase? Yes, Ajay, am I audible to you?
Now the national leaders are all here in Kerala. PM had visited multiple times to Kerala, making sure that... Yes, Libakshi, yes.
Yes,
as far as the political campaign is concerned, all the national leaders have visited Kerala. In fact, the national leaders have left. They are camping in Kerala. D. Raja, Sitaram Yechury, Prakash Karat. They are all already in Kerala doing their best for the left front, because it's their last chance to stay relevant in the national scene. Whereas for Congress, today Rahul Gandhi was to appear in Kerala, but he has conveyed that due to health reasons he won't be coming. But other people are all in Kerala, including Congress chief Garge, and yesterday P. Chidambaram was here. Karnataka Deputy CM D.K. Shivkumar did a whirlwind tour campaign for Congress in Kerala, and for BJP, all the heavyweights have come here, campaigned for the BJP candidate. So essentially the campaign is at its peak, and now just 2 days for the last moment of campaign, things are getting really heated up.
All right, Ajay. Also, Thiruvananthapuram, if you talk about, it's one of the major constituencies. So, where do you see do you see a clash of titans there?
Trivandrum, as you said, it's the most keenly watched constituency right now in Kerala. BJP had been hoping to open its account through Trivandrum from Kerala's Lok Sabha constituencies, but so far it has been unsuccessful. But this time they think that they have a real chance of trouncing Shashi Tharoor, who has already won a hat-trick in this constituency. Remember in 2009 when he entered the political scene, he won Trivandrum Lok Sabha by almost 1 lakh vote. But in 2019, again he could repeat the same, but with a slender margin. He could repeat the same thing in 2019, but it was in 2014 where he had a very close fight with the BJP, which came second. He could garner only a majority of 15,000. So essentially, he is on the top right now as far as the 2019 vote is concerned. But BJP this time has fielded its most prominent candidate in Kerala, I must say, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who have been doing a campaign never seen in this constituency. So BJP camp is really thrilled, but I should put it this way, that LDF has also fielded its best candidate, its previous MP, Pandyan Ravindran, here in Trivandrum. So essentially this is a three-cornered fight where right now, if you look at the pulse, the sentiments of the people, we can say it's like a close fight more between Congress and NDA. And everything will be decided on 26th, where voters of Trivandrum will go out to booth and register their choice. And we will all be keenly waiting for this particular constituency.
Right. Thank you so much, Ajay, for giving us all that update from Kerala. And right now we have Aisha Khanam from Bangalore joining us. Well, Aisha, a key constituency is going to polls in Karnataka in the second phase. How are the preparations going there?
Well, in the second phase, Karnataka will go to polls for its first phase of 14 seats. Karnataka has 28 seats, and out of which 14 seats will go for polls on April 26th. Now, all the preparations are in place, and the last-minute campaigning has really heated up, and it has boiled down to law and order situation in the state. Now, remember, there was a gruesome murder of a young student in the college campus at Hubballi in North Karnataka, and this has led to a severe, crisis of breakdown of law and order in the state, because the government is cornered. The state government is being asked questions about the safety of women in the state. So all this has really boiled down to the fact that the failure of law and order and Karnataka government's appeasement politics, which is the vote bank politics, which the opposition party corners the Congress government. So at the moment, top leaders from Congress are campaigning in and around Bangalore city. Bangalore city has 3 Lok Sabha seats. Bangalore rural has 1 Lok Sabha seat. So AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge will be campaigning here. Then Congress leaders, apart from Congress leaders, the BJP leaders will be campaigning in other constituencies. But today there will be a bandh in Bangalore city and across the state in support of the parents who are demanding CBI inquiry for inquiring Neha murder case. So this election is in Karnataka is all about Karnataka government's failure to maintain law and order in the state, and its failure to protect women and women's safety is now the larger issue. So this has entirely changed the equation, and entirely changed the campaign trail that we have been seeing. So at the moment, today in Karnataka, there will be a bandh, and people across the state are angry and upset about the fact that women are not safe, and a young girl, Neha, was murdered in a broad daylight, and the Karnataka government is yet to arrest all the other culprits except one accused who has been arrested.
All right, Aisha. As you said, that the women's safety there is the major issue. We heard that special polling stations have been set up to encourage women and youth to vote also. What is the case right now?
Well, absolutely. Every election now we see there are pink booths, which will be set up, and these pink booths facilitate women to vote in these booths. Now it's very interesting to see that these pink booths are manned by women, and these pink booths, have large number of women staff, managing that entire booth. So it helps women to come down to these pink booths wherever they are set up in some select constituencies where the women are in large numbers. So these pink booths have been very popular in the past assembly elections also, and this has really helped women come out fearlessly and vote in large numbers. So at the moment, Karnataka has over 1 lakh pink booths, which will be distributed widely in numbers as per the phases, the phase 1 and phase 2. And this pink booths will provide women all the assistance, even the senior citizens, women senior citizens will be provided all the assistance, and this will also get a special security protection. So not only in Karnataka but across India, several initiatives that have been taken for women to vote seamlessly without much effort. These pink booths have been helping large number of women come to the polling station and cast their vote.
All right. Thank you so much, Aisha, for joining us and giving us that update. And moving on, President of India, Draupadi Murmu, will present the Padma Awards at the civil investiture ceremony at Rashtrapati Bhavan in national capital today. President Murmu will confer 5 Padma Vibhushan, 17 Padma Bhushan and 110 Padma Shri awards. 30 of the awardees are women. President Murmu will confer Padma Vibhushan on former Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Bharatnatyam dancer Dr. Padma Subramaniam. Padma Vibhushan award will be given to Bindeshwar Pathak posthumously. Actor Mithun Chakrabarti and singer Usha Uthap will receive the Padma Bhushan award. The other Padma Bhushan awardees include philanthropist Dr. Sitaram Jindal, cardiologist Dr. Tejas Madhusudan Patel and former Uttar Pradesh Governor Ram Naik. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Ramlala temple in India's Ayodhya gets adorned in the colors of zeal. Over 400 devotees from 28 different countries participated in the Saryu Aarti ceremony, adding to the joy and reverence of the occasion for the onlookers. A fire broke out in India's New Delhi landfill on Sunday as clouds were seen pluming in air from the site. Excavators were seen working at the fire site as attempts to douse the fire continued. Authorities say the fire was caused due to the gas produced in the landfill. No casualty reported. While many parts of India reel with hot, humid weather, eastern state of India, Darjeeling, braces soft, chilling weather, attracting hundreds of tourists. It's fascinating how different regions of India can experience such diverse weather conditions at the same time. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Parts of India witness heat wave as temperatures soar. Temperatures soar as intense heat wave grips parts of India. Man United beat Coventry on penalties to set up Man City FA Cup final. And spring burst into Toronto with cherry blossoms.
As the action shifts to the second phase of general elections, Team Poll Pulse has arrived in the coastal state of Kerala. Thiruvananthapuram is witnessing a blockbuster contest.
Side of technology, innovation, startups, that is the main specific thing that we are looking ahead.
Join us as we track the pulse of Indian democracy. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Moving on, weather updates now. Parts of India reeled under severe heat wave on Sunday as the regions, especially the eastern states, witnessed hotter than usual day right at the onset of summer season. Indian Weather Office has issued heat wave alerts in several eastern states, warning locals to take precautions to prevent heat stroke. And we're joined by Tapas Bhattacharya from Delhi on the heat wave. Well, Tapas, what regions are currently experiencing the most extreme temperatures during this heat wave as the weather warning has also been issued?
Well, good morning, Lipakshi. And yes, even though Delhi hasn't experienced a heat wave condition, but it's quite heavy, but it's still better right now. In the morning, we're expecting some sort of a shower in some parts of the national capital. So it's better, the weather condition in Delhi is not that bad if you compare to, let's say, Gangetic West Bengal, or for that matter, Orissa, Rayalaseema, Vidarbha, Chhattisgarh, Southwest Madhya Pradesh, Telangana and coastal Andhra Pradesh. These are the areas where the temperature is currently hovering at the and somewhere in the region of 42 to 45 degrees Celsius. Also places, for instance, East Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, some parts of eastern UP also has seen a temperature soaring over 42 degrees Celsius. Now, what we can tell you is that the condition is expected to remain the same, especially in the Gangetic West Bengal area, and it is expected to remain the same for the next 4 to 5 days. But for places like Odisha, we are expecting that the temperature will come down from today onwards. So that's one point. Odisha had been witnessing the kind of heat wave conditions from 15th of this month, and in West Bengal it's continuing from 17th of this month. So we are expecting the temperature to go down in Odisha, but it will remain the same in the Gangetic West Bengal area. Now, if I give you some, just to give you a glimpse of what exactly we are talking about, a heat wave condition, places like, for instance, Jharkhand, there's a place called Bahargoda where the temperature has soared yesterday over 46 degrees Celsius. Now, Badipada in Odisha has seen 44.6 degrees Celsius. And in West Bengal, Gangetic West Bengal, there's a place called Bankura where the temperature has leapfrogged to 44.5 degrees Celsius. So these are, alarming situation where the temperature has risen beyond, normal temperature, and that's where the major problem lies. Now, this is what we call the heat wave condition, and IMD, the India's meteorological department, has been giving out some sort of precautionary advisories over the course of the few days. And now, if we take a close look at some of the places, for instance, East Meghalaya, Manipur, we have seen that yesterday night there was a lot of convection that took place, and there was a rainfall activity, moderate spell of rainfall activity, along with thunderstorm that took place yesterday. So here at one point of part of India, the country is reeling under heat wave, and the other part is seeing thunderstorm activity. So welcome to the diversity that is India.
Right. Thank you so much, Tapas, for that update. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. Indian prodigy Gukesh scripted history by becoming the youngest ever champion of candidates tournament. By winning the candidates tournament, Gukesh has ensured he will compete in the 2024 World Chess Championship against the defending champion China's Jing Liren. Gukesh is also only the second player from India to win this competition after Vishwanathan Anand. And Indian tennis star Yuki Bhamri and his doubles partner Albano Olivetti have emerged as a champion at ATP Munich Open on Sunday. The Indo-French unseeded pair showcased their prowess on the court by defeating Andreas Mais and Jan-Lennard Struff in the final with a resounding scoreline of 7-6, 7-6. For Bhamri, this victory marks a significant milestone, securing his second ATP title, while the Olivetti, it's a maiden triumph alongside his partner. Yuki Bhamri rose to his career best ranking of 56 in the doubles. This victory will further strengthen Yuki's chance of qualifying for the Paris Olympics in doubles. And in football, Manchester United recovered from an astonishing collapse to beat Coventry on penalties in an FA Cup Classic on Sunday, setting up a second straight final against Manchester City. It is only the second time in the competition's history that the same two teams have reached successive finals, the first sides to do so since 1885. Manchester City, who beat United in the 2023 final, edged Chelsea 1-0 in the other semi-final on Saturday. Well, residents and visitors delighted in a walk at the High Park in Canada's Toronto as thousands of cherry blossom trees gifted by Japan in 1959 ushered in the spring season in full bloom. Well, with these beautiful pictures, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.